Hello and welcome to the It's All Good show. My name is Denise Belisle, and I'm a serenity expert and positive intelligence specialist. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and from where you're watching this show. This is the Look Who's Here. It's all good. Look who's here for a chat. And today, my guest is Moira Cohn. And I'm so excited to have her with me today. She's a registered therapeutic counselor, and we're going to talk about help and self-esteem. These are two things that are really deep into my heart, that's for sure. But before we start, I just want to introduce this show. So thank you for being here. So when you're watching this show, you can put a comment, say hello in the chat. You can like this video. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell so you can be notified whenever I have a new video. So the show, it's called It's All Good. Look who's here for a chat. The first reason why I call it It's All Good, it's pretty simple. It's like, oh, it's my favorite cup. It's all good. But it's something I say all the time. It's all good. So the reason why I say that is because I realize that if something happened 5 minutes ago, or even 5 years ago, or 5 seconds ago, I can't change it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's gone. It's behind me. I can't change it. So what can I say? It's all good. It might not be good thing that had happened, but I can't change it, so there's no point getting upset over it. All I can do is look for the gift into it, or maybe solution on how I can resolve that problem if it is a problem that needs to be resolved. What about the future? Whenever I go into the future thinking, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, this gonna happen, or maybe that gonna happen, and then start worrying about, oh, maybe he's gonna say that, but then I'm gonna say that, and all these things that are going on in our mind when we try to plan the future. Well, we can't plan the future. Sorry to break it to you, or you can predict it either. We can make step towards getting ready for some eventuality, but in the end, you can't really know what's going to happen. For example, I had a client. He went away on vacation for a month, and then as he was in his vacation, he had planned every eventuality, everything that could happen. Like, okay, we're going to do that, transfer, do this, do that, that. And then, you know what? A whole bunch of things went wrong. But then he was able to use the gift of, being serene and say it's all good. And he found solution for all these things that went wrong, because he stayed within the present and say, hey, I'm here now. What can I do about this? So you can do that too. So now let me introduce you, Mara. Let's have her come here. Hi, Mara.
Hello, hello. Hi, Denise.
It's good to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm really excited that you're here and part of my guest that comes every Monday. And please, Mara, I didn't do any introduction for you because I think you have a little personal story to tell, and I'd love to hear it and for you to tell it from your own words. So please let our audience and myself know a little bit more about you.
Well, thank you. Well, it was lovely to be here and have a conversation with you, Denise. I love it here. And for everyone watching from the US, happy 4th of July.
Yes,
This
of course.
UK, we had our Canada Day on Friday, so that was lovely and great weather. That's always nice. My story. Well, currently I'm a registered therapeutic counselor, but how I came to be that is a bit of a story because my first love was the spa industry. I grew up in South Africa, and I just fell in love with the spa, and I had my business. We immigrated here, and I had another business. And then, when you've done something for a very long time, I'd been in the spa industry for over 25 years, you want to try something different. And I went and I stepped into what they call image consulting. And so a lot of people don't know what that is. It literally is getting to know who you are, like the way you dress, your personality style, and all
Mhm.
that. And I went to Toronto for 5 weeks, came back eagerly to start that. My very first client, I draped her in this fabulous blue fabric, and it made her blue eyes just pop.
Mhm.
And I mentioned this, and she said, my client Judy said the most profound thing to me. She said, Moira, I always wanted brown eyes.
Ah.
And I realized in that moment, well, unless she accepts the color of her eyes, nothing I can share with her as an expert is going to land because she doesn't
Uh-huh.
accept that part of her.
Yeah.
And, there's a part of me that wanted to judge that. And then I realized, hey, hold on, there's parts of me that I don't fully appreciate, right? And fully accept. And in that moment, I knew that I needed to go deeper.
Yeah.
And that was the counseling, that was the therapy part, because I knew that there was something else going on. And so from that moment, and that was in 2010, there was a whole series of things that happened. I went through my own separate, like my husband and I separated, and I had to come face to face to my money story.
Mm-hmm.
I was so avoidant and I would put everything off, and it had me not dealing with my finances and my own insecurities, had my hands so inflamed that I had to consider going on disability leave.
Oh, wow.
And it was the equivalent of, you have your car and then the gas light comes on and it's like, you know what, you're out of gas. And my response to that for my life was, let's go to the spa. Let's go take my car for a wash. So I would do yoga. I even became vegan for 2 years. I would go for spa treatments because, like, I'm stressed. I can tell this is stress on my hands, but how am I dealing with that? And so, and there was a pivotal moment, but I realized it was because I'm avoiding things. And
Mm-hmm.
so
So
it's
you had to
that
go a little bit deeper, right?
trying to, yeah, that's part of my brain that's trying to protect myself. And so I had realized that that part of my brain that says that I'm protecting you was actually so messed up and messing with my health that it was not helping. And
Mm.
so going into therapy and learning how to be a counselor helped a lot with that. And then um, some more things, but essentially that was my journey is coming
Oh,
from
wow.
spa therapist and always being in the zone, but then things coming up and just, you know I feel like there was these voices in my head and they've always been there, but it was through circumstances that they really came up and I really had to deal with them. So yeah,
Oh, that's
powerful journey. Went
pretty
through a lot
amazing because
myself, for sure.
very often we have physical issues, but we don't realize that it's actually internal issues,
Mhm.
right? So once we're
It's
able to,
always
and you're able to really pinpoint like the problem, and once you do that, it's like all of a sudden, by miracle, the physical issue disappeared, right?
oh, it's so interesting. It's so true. I recently were in conflict with a friend, and what it looked like was I felt that she wasn't contributing to our relationship as much anymore. So my brain was just going 110 miles an hour, judging, and
Yeah.
I started to feel a pain in my shoulder like I have
Mm.
never felt before. And then realize, hold on, like I am actually creating this pain with my thinking
Yeah.
and my being, and then shifting that to gratitude, and immediately the pain let up. That was after I had gone to an acupuncturist uh, for a massage and gone to the spa again, just to kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
relieved it a little bit, but it did not take it away. And once I shifted the thinking around it, that's when the pain completely goes away. So the mind and the body is so in sync, and we tend to
Absolutely.
band-aid what's going on with our bodies, but our bodies is screaming out. It's once it has something to say, and if we take the time to listen and explore, that's when the magic happens.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I have a psychotherapist teacher that's what she's saying, like the issues in the tissue. So whenever there's a tissue problem, which means your body aches somewhere that for no reason it started to ache. Like, I'm sure you didn't lift anything too heavy, or you didn't tore your ligament doing, some stupid things. It's just like, oh my God, you woke up one morning and it hurts, right? It's like, oh, that doesn't come on its own, like
It
there's
starts
an
gradually.
issue.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
starts gradually because that pain in my shoulder was like I could feel it as a tightness, and I was away in Vegas. I was actually enjoying myself. There was nothing, but the only thing that was going on was this conversation going on in my head, and that created this whole tightness
Yeah.
and strain in my shoulder. And as soon as that thinking shifted, it went away completely. My hand started to get breakout as well, so that took a day to
To
go
heal.
away.
Yeah.
But this pain in my shoulder immediately, Denise,
Unbelievable. And
immediately.
if some of you that are listening say, "Yeah, that's bullshit," but then I'm telling you, I heard many, many, many cases of people having spontaneous healing from just resolving internal issues that they have, resentment, fear, regardless, stress, anything that is negative emotion that we keep on ourselves, that we keep on our shoulders. And then we can't move on in that direction. Like, it's almost like putting stick in our wheels, right? Stopping us from achieving ourselves and moving forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And I love that is what I hadn't realized. And the most powerful thing I've discovered is when you're worried or concerned, which is what will it create discomfort or ailments in your body. The one thing that shifts is being present. You
Hmm.
cannot worry
Yeah.
while you're being present. It's
Yeah.
impossible. Your brain cannot worry when you're being present. And the same with this was told to me by a like he entertains people by hypnotizing audiences, and he said to me,
Oh, yeah.
Moira, here's the thing, and this is how I work, is the brain cannot be in gratitude and in worry at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And so just focusing, so when you are worried about something, find something that you can feel gratitude for,
Mm.
and that'll immediately shift it. So either being present or shifting to gratitude. Like, and I remember the first time hearing Einstein's quote, like the brain or you cannot resolve a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. And my brain could understand it, but I'm like, well, what does a different consciousness look like? And a
Mhm,
different
mhm.
consciousness literally is being present,
Yeah, a
being present
different
in
choice, a different
consciousness.
choice of thought, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because often I agree with that. I never heard that taught as so, but when we have a problem in front of us, if we keep thinking that it's a problem and that we can't find a solution, then we have a closed mindset, right? It's like, oh, I can't resolve this. I can't resolve this. So when we open ourselves up and look at for example, any problem and say, hey, I'm so lucky. Look at all the possibility I can find, I can work towards to resolve that problem. Let's start to open up the doors and see the different option that I have to resolve this problem. And then all of a sudden, that's your mind is shifting. You're opening yourself. You're more curious about different situation around you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just when you're stressed, it's kind of like a garden hose and it's being pinched. And so it's not a lot of water that can come through. And when you let go of that, then you can access your wisdom, your inner wisdom, not knowledge, but wisdom, or
Yeah.
both. And it's huge, just that shift for sure.
So today our topic is health, as some of you might have noticed, and self-esteem. So tell me a little bit more about self-esteem and why it's important.
Or self-esteem, there are pillars to self-esteem, and the most important is self-acceptance.
Mm,
And being able to accept where you are right now. You may not like where you are, but if you do not accept where you are, you cannot actually move forward. And for me, what that looked like is I was just avoiding it. I would not face whatever is going on in my life. I would just avoid it. And I think that that's a big part of it. Another part is of self-esteem is having a vision for yourself. If you do not know what you want in life, nothing is going to pull you towards that. You will just
mm,
keep on swimming in the same soup. So if you don't have or set something that will pull you forward, that that's what excites you. So that could look like, hey, I want to go to, I say Disney World because when I wanted to immigrate from South Africa, that was going to be my first stop.
the one
Um,
thing you wanted to do, yeah.
I'm just like I'm a Disney fan. So and I remember the first time I went to Disneyland, my friend and I were just mindlessly wandering around. My feet were getting so tired and exhausted, and I sat down. I'm like, hey, if you do not tell me where we're going so that I know when we get there, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm exhausted. And I think that's a big part is we get exhausted in our lives
Mm.
because we don't have anything to move forward. We're willing to walk even though our feet are tired, if we know at least that it's going to be a payoff. And so
Yeah.
part of self-esteem is having a goal and like setting a future for yourself. um Courage, like just having the courage to do it, because you're going to have to step outside of yourself to do something different and overcome that part of yourself that just want to keep you safe. So that takes something else. So we cannot function without self-esteem. And
Mm.
I've seen that firsthand in my life, is the times that I did not have that self-command. It's like, okay, I'm going to let go of being comfortable right now and just endure something so that it can have an outcome. And I think a big part of self-esteem is like, what do you want in your life? What do you
Mhm.
desire for yourself? And it could be something as little as, I just want to have a beautiful meal by the end of the night. What's that going to look like, and create something and have fun with it, to something bigger. Like I want to go on a month-long trip to Italy, which is what I'm planning next. So, but yeah, you need something that pulls you forward, and
Yeah.
self-esteem is a big part of it. And the big difference between self-esteem and confidence is, um, confidence is something you build over time. Like, if I was to play the piano, I will not be confident in it because I'm just starting out. But over time, I will build confidence because of practice.
Yeah.
Self-esteem is something different. It is accepting yourself and where you are at. It is setting goals for yourself, going after your goals. And there are a few more components, but there's a big difference between confidence and self-esteem.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I can see the difference. Like self-esteem also is respecting our own boundaries, right? Like not
Mhm.
too often I found, especially people that are stressed out, is they don't respect their own boundaries and they become doormat. That's the expression, right? Everybody step on them and not respecting them for what their goals, their things. Having self-esteem also, I imagine it's like, as you said, like having a destination in mind, but respecting to go there, like knowing that you can do it, you know, and
Yeah.
say, I can achieve this. I just have to keep moving. I just have to keep doing the work that needs to be done. And I love what you said, being starting to be comfortable to be uncomfortable, right? To step out of your comfort zone and say, hey, if you keep doing the same thing as you used to do, you're not going to get anywhere. So you need to do things different, and different things can be painful sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we all have that survival part of the brain, and it's the oldest part, and it's so strong. It's a muscle within our brain, and so it wants to keep you safe. And so, unless you can quiet that part of your brain and you can kind of
Yeah.
like, I know you want to keep me safe, but I'm going to stretch myself. I'm going to do
Yeah.
something different. You will never be something different. And our soul craves growth and contribution. Those are the two big things that makes us feel alive. And
Yeah.
so stepping out, and just even if it's just by a little, that's going to make a big difference.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I agree with you. I think we just have to make the leap of faith, right? Sometime it's almost like you're on the edge of the precipice, but you do bungee jumping, and you have to have the faith that the rope will hold you, and then you'll make it down the bottom, no problem, and then you'll be safe. You'll do it because you've
Yeah.
seen 10 people in front of you doing it, and they were okay. But when you're the one on the edge, like, I can't do this, And it's the same in our lives. Sometimes we're afraid to jump. We're afraid to make these leap of faith changes, but it's important.
Oh, I like, you just reminded me of a story when the first time I went indoor climbing, and it was one of the so I went up, and it was one of those ropes where I just needed to come down by myself. No one was holding on the rope. I don't know what
Okay.
you call them. And I had, so it gives, there's a bit of a free fall, and I know I'm at the top, so my arms are exhausted. I'm so tired because it's the first time
So
I'm doing
doing
this,
the climb,
and
yeah.
I can't get myself to let go. Denise. Always the hardest thing, because I'm like, I don't know if this rope is going to hold me.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I even considered climbing down. I'm like, I'm so tired. I can't climb down. I'm going to have to trust that this rope's got me. And I remember letting go, and it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And then I felt the rope tightening, and it just let me down so smoothly. And after that, it was my favorite way of going down, but it was by far the hardest thing I've
Trust
ever
it.
done.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's like just that trust and faith that you're going to be okay, but there's going to be
Yeah.
a bit of a free fall, and it is hard. And that's what takes the courage.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I
Mhm.
like that. Yeah. We all need a little bit more courage in our life.
Oh, yes. It's a big part of it. And
So,
then being with people, and or seeing or surrounding yourself with people that's been there and done that. They give you permission. I remember when, because coming from South Africa, I never thought that I'd ever immigrate. I just thought I'd stay in my little country. And we had friends visit. They traveled through the US for 8 months. They came back, and they like had a party, and they showed us all their photos, and it opened up something in our minds. It opened up a possibility. There was inspiration, and
mhm.
that helped my husband and I plan our trip. So sometimes it is really important just to surround yourself with people that's been there and that's done that, so that it makes it easier. And you have someone you can ask questions like, hey, I'm really scared. Like, how did you overcome that? So I think
Yeah.
we tend to want to lone wolf it, but that's where it's important to really surround yourself with people. What do you want to achieve in your life? And who can you surround yourself with that's been there and done that, can kind of like hold your hand? It makes it much easier when it comes to courage.
And that's what a good coach and a good mentor is there for too, right? If you don't know anyone
Absolutely.
around yourself, and people that are
Absolutely.
able to just have access to that and reach out and not be afraid to say, hey, I feel weak in this area and I need help to pull me up and to show me the way, right? Show me that
Oh,
it's
well,
the rope is solid.
so important to your point. This is what I've learned, how the importance of having a coach. Um, I remember going to Maui for the first time, and my friend, I just casually mentioned, "Ah, I want to learn how to surf." And he goes like, "Okay, you're gonna do it right now." I'm like, "What? What?" I'm like, "I have never surfed. I want to learn." Have you seen the movie Soul Surfer? It's based on a true story of the
Yes.
surfer, her arm bit
Yeah.
by a shark. Well, my friend was surfing as well, so I have the private lesson, and my instructor is good friends with this. I think is it Bethany? Her name is Bethany. I can't remember her last name. They actually grew up together. In the hour that both of us surfed, I went out 20 times, and he only went 3 times. And that's because I had a coach, and he told me like, wait, I couldn't see a wave coming. He because he was a coach, he knew when the wave was coming. He said, "Okay,
Yeah.
get yourself ready, start paddling. It's gonna come." And I kept on going. I was exhausted because we were doing so much more. And to me, that day, I realized the importance of having a coach. You will go so much further, and so much more powerful with a coach as opposed to
Yeah.
just by yourself. My friend
Yeah.
ended up going 3 times, and he got beat up, like being scratched by the coral reef. So I'm
Of
like,
course, of
we
course.
had a coach that could like, hey, no, it's safer here, and this is what you're gonna do. So much power in coaching.
Wow, yes, that's an amazing story, to explain how that works for sure. Because like the reason, like I look at you as an example, you are here now as a therapist and counselor therapist because you went through your own ordeal of stress and struggles and all that, and then you say, hey, I've spent all that time and money into resolving my problem and understanding what's going on, that I want to help others now. And the same for me, right? I mean, I call myself a serenity expert because I've been to a lot of up and down in my life, and I learned to control these roller coasters emotion, and now my life is like whoop, 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 whoop. It's like calm water, right? It's if I ask my friend, people I know right now, when's the last time you saw me upset? They'll say like, I don't know. you know. Because I learned from experience and from courses and all that, and it's the same for you, right? You've learned what you've done, and now you're able to share that knowledge with the people you're working with. That's what, having a coach or a mentor is so important.
Absolutely. It's like what I heard you say is like, used to be waves and now it's kind of like just ripples, right? It's not like, okay, there's something and you can like, there you bring it down. So you're able to self-manage way better
Yeah, yeah.
because of that. And yeah, and you and I know the story. Like, it's like our emotions are there to teach us and or communicate something, right? And
Hmm.
so the pain is there to show and tell us something, like holding a hand to a hot plate. We're not meant to hold our hand down and burn to the bone. It's just like, hey, there's something to
Oh,
look
that
at.
hurts, you know.
Yeah, that hurts. And so that's the ripples, right? It's like, okay, there's something, let's look at it, as opposed to, okay, let's bowl it, let's bowl it, let's bowl it. And with my shoulder, that's what was happening. I was holding my hand. And here's the thing, Denise, I knew that I was doing this. I knew, like, how long are you going to hold your hand to this plate? You
Yeah.
know that you're doing this by yourself. And sometimes we just, we're too close to ourselves. That's where the support in therapeutic support or counseling support is so, or coaching support is so important, because we're too close to ourselves.
Hmm.
And just to be offered a different perspective so you can access a different consciousness. So important.
So there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of therapists, there's a lot of counselor. So what makes you different from other people that are doing the same as you're doing, or call themselves the same way?
Yes. Oh, well, I combine
So
therapy
why
with.
you? Why Mora?
Yes, I combine therapy with coaching. And so when I was doing image consulting, uh,
Hmm.
we had to paint. We had to paint, and like my teacher didn't have a lot of paint, so they gave us three core colors: your red, your blue, and your yellow. And with
Hmm.
those three colors, you can create a lot. And so, as a coach, and I know you do this too, you go down to the core. And so what I've done is I have now implemented technology, because insight is not enough. You as a coach, and you and I both, you do courses and stuff like that, and you feel so pumped and you've learned this new thing, and then over 2 weeks it fizzles out. So it is
2 days
basically
sometime.
right. And so therapeutic. So what I do is I use technology, innovative technology, to start rewire the brain so that you can access a different consciousness, and really take my clients through a boot camp. And so what I do differently, as both a coach and as a therapist, is I take them through this boot camp, and then, like, let's do the inner healing through that. But it's basically, and it's simple. And we start off by creating new neural pathways in the brain,
Hmm.
because otherwise it's like Einstein. We have a problem, and we can't solve it with the same consciousness. We have to create a different part of it. So
Yeah.
that's what I do very differently, is using technology and coaching. I combine coaching and therapy to do that. And measurable, my clients are able to measure and see the difference over a period of 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And so, what is the biggest lesson that you've experienced as a therapist that you can share with people that are listening, and so that they can learn from your experience?
What's the biggest lesson as a therapist? That it's cellular. Like, our bodies have, as a young child, we experience a trauma, and it could be a big or small trauma. It doesn't matter. We experience some kind of trauma, and we experience it in our bodies, and our cells remember it.
Mm.
And until that memory can shift, so that doesn't mean we take the trauma away, but how our response to that trauma changes. That'll create a shift within us. And so, what that would look like for a child, as a child, children usually freeze. So when we
Mhm.
go in, what we do is we go to that same time, And we don't have to do a traumatic event. It could be a very slight event. Um, we change the response to that event. So if as a child you had frozen, we would ask you, like, what would you like to do different? Maybe that's saying no to a person.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's walking away. Maybe it's doing something, but that will create a new cellular memory. And so the power of that is huge. And that's what supported me with my healing journey is like going back, and I'm like, and therapeutically you go into, you just kind of like, hey, how are you feeling? Where do you feel that in your body right now? And then it's like, just like when, and then your inner wisdom will take us to a time. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a conversation that you got triggered with, that'll take
Mm-hmm.
us to a childhood experience,
Yeah.
and then get us to reframe that, create a new cellular memory. And that is huge. The body remembers. It
Mm-hmm.
holds onto it. Until you shift it, you will still function from that memory.
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely. It,
subconscious. It's
it
subconscious.
is
You
totally
cannot deny it.
subconscious, for sure. For sure. There's sometimes we don't think that an event might have influenced us in a certain way, but when you go back, not regression or anything like that, but just to revisit the emotion around this event, and sometimes we don't even know which event it is, but once you're able to just release that energy that has been blocked there, or once you can, for example, I always give the example of someone in school, in elementary school, right, that's being told by the teacher, you know oh, forget about it, you're never going to be good in math. One
Mm.
sentence, right? But from that one sentence,
Oh,
that kids could change his life completely, because
yeah.
from then on the kids will stop trying. The
Mhm.
kids will always tell itself, himself or herself, that, yeah, I'm not good in math anyway, why bother, I'm just going to try to pass. And to the years, always using a calculator, and always, not trusting their brain into calculating numbers. And what it does, it makes an adult that, can add 3 plus 4, right?
Mhm.
And but in reality, if that teacher at that moment would have said, okay, let's take a minute, and I will really make you understand how that works, and you'll get it, you can do it. Wow, the changes, that person could have become an accountant, right?
Helping that child build that confidence there. And so you and I have heard incredible stories of authors and singers that were told that they were not good at it, and how they
Mhm.
stopped believing it, or someone else say, hey, give it another try, and
Yeah,
how they succeeded. And now they're celebrities, but these celebrities
yeah,
have been told that they're really, really bad at singing or whatever, writing a book.
yeah,
That's,
yeah. So
yeah,
I think
but
it's
we
really
see.
important, if you have children, be careful what you say to your children. Because that can affect them for the rest of their life. They're sponges, they
Yeah,
catch everything we say.
they
So
absolutely.
who are your ideal clients? Who would you like to have as a client? I know we can all help everyone, but
Yeah,
but do you have like a personal type, like a personality
yeah.
type that
Like,
you love to work with? What's the problem that they have?
yeah, like I remember when just after I had my first baby, and that's 25 years ago. And when you're like in, I don't know if you know, but you in between, you can't quite fit new clothes that you had, and you're done with your maternity, where you just want to like be done with it. So I went shopping. I came home with all these new clothes, tried it out for my husband, and he goes like, "What are those?" And I'm like, "I'm a mother now. I have to dress like one."
Uh-huh.
And looking back, I could see that there was a disconnect. I was not who he goes like, I didn't marry a mother. I married you, right? And so that disconnect. But I realized that I had started wearing all these hats, all these societal
Yeah.
expectations, and I completely lost myself. And that's where the image consulting really helped me to like, oh, who am I? What are my values? And so I would say my focus is for women that are divorced, that feel
Mm-hmm.
like they've totally lost themselves,
Yeah.
and they have low self-esteem, and they're so done with the results that they're getting, and they're scared of making the same. mistakes in their new relationship. They don't even want to try going to the, and they may even have body issues. Like, well, I know for me, I gained extra pounds over COVID because I was just not as active. And so just how you feel about your body. So for me is divorced women, probably in their middle age, is also dealing with hormonal
Mhm.
changes,
Mhm.
and just helping with their self-esteem and creating new narrative in their brain so that
Yeah.
they can, like, hey, embrace who they are, and from that place really step into that version that is more confident, has self-esteem, and attracts people, whether it's a new partner or a new career, whatever that is. But mainly working with women that have gone through divorce and felt like, I don't know who I am,
Yeah.
and I would
Yeah.
love to have more confidence and self-esteem.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. I'm sure a few people can recognize themselves, with that, because it's going through divorce. I went to separation, but not divorce, but you kind of lose yourself. Like I when I moved to Vancouver, I left I don't know how many years were 5, 6 years relationship, and I had lost myself. Like there was totally a lot of stuff that I wasn't doing anymore, a lot of stuff that I didn't know what I liked anymore. I kind of lost my identity, and moving here to Vancouver all by myself from back east, and I was like, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know what's my favorite type of food. I don't know what kind of movie I want to go watch. I don't know, I don't know. So it took me a
Mhm.
while, to explore and to try new things, and what do I want out of a relationship, with and these questions. If I had a coach at that time, I'm sure life would have been a lot easier to navigate through this difficult time, because
Mhm.
I had my own 5 days therapy driving here, because I drove from back east to here, but still, there was a lot of time where I was, just try to think about what I was going into, where I was going, who I was going to do it with, and totally different lifestyle, obviously, but from living back east to moving here and with new people around me. So yeah, it is important when you have those big transition in your life that you seek for advice and recommendation and support. And if only to have someone to talk to that won't judge you, that won't tell you what to do, that that's the worst, not being able to talk to anyone, because they're all going to try to fix you, right?
Mhm.
So a coach is not
Yeah,
going to, or a counselor is not going to try to fix you. It will show you a way for you to fix yourself, you
yeah.
know
Yeah, I just well, what I heard you say is just like you were on your own Camino, just coming across, right? And just like that
yeah.
time to reflect. I remember the first thing, because I had gone from living with my parents to living with my then fiance, and then got married. So I'd never lived by myself. So when I
Mm.
separated, that was the first time I ever
Big
lived by myself. And I
difference.
remember
Yeah.
I don't know how to decorate. I'm like, I've been listening to his music. I'm like, what music do I even like? So just that discovery is like, that was such a profound time for me. Um, but yeah, just that self discovery is so important. And then having someone that can guide you and ask those questions, because it's inside of you, which is, it's so powerful.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure, for sure. I think it's really important to listen to ourselves and to reach out. So talking about reach out, how can people reach you? Like, what's the best way for?
Yes, I would love for them to reach out to me. It's like Moira at 𝙎𝙋𝘼𝙍.com.
Okay.
They can email me there, or they can connect with me on Facebook, Moira Cohn uh, or LinkedIn. Like, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Moira Cohn,
I'm
and
sure
just,
there's not 1,000 more accounts, so they can easily find you.
yeah, I just look for my face.
Yeah, look at the picture, you know.
Look for my face, and I'm connected with Helps Counseling. I'm under an umbrella of Helps Counseling
Wonderful.
at this time, or PQ. Yes, just find me there and connect with me. Yeah,
And we'll
pretty
put
much.
the information in the chat or in the
Mhm.
show notes so people can
Yeah, in the
find
show
you.
notes. Yeah, in the show notes, I'll have all my information, the website where they can find me, and we also have a free assessment. So
Oh,
feel free to
wonderful.
click on that and connect with me afterwards for sure.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. Any
Yeah,
last words
definitely.
before we go? Any last tips?
Oh, just, I think we tend to be so hard on ourselves. And I think if you can just take a nice deep breath and just acknowledge where you've been
Mm,
and where you are right now is the perfect place to be. And
mhm,
tomorrow is a clean slate and you get to decide that. But you can let go of the past because it has no more hold on you. Just give yourself a break because that judge inside of us is so harsh. So just take a nice deep breath. And I remember when I was going through a really tough time. It was in 2015. I did not have money for my rent, and I had to move out very last minute. And I remember this mantra really held me, and it was just, "This too shall pass."
mhm,
And just know that whatever you're going through, there is a gift in it, and you may not be evident right now, but it will pass and it will reveal itself to you, and you are good enough just the way you are.
mm. Wonderful. I like that. And every day is a new day.
It
So
is today.
tomorrow doesn't have to look like yesterday.
No, we can completely recreate it.
Yeah,
You can start wearing orange wigs if you want to, and just
that would be
why
great. My
not?
favorite color.
Yeah,
Favorite
what?
color.
No, have fun. Like, I think we get so serious, and you have to, because we're adults right now. So one of the ways that I get out of my own way is I'll wear my LED shoes, and I love it when 5-year-olds admire my shoes that get all lit up.
Yeah, yeah, an adult LED shoe. That's pretty cool.
Do something fun. Just do something silly. It's good.
Yes, yes. Don't be afraid to be different.
Don't be afraid to be different. Go ahead and just
Wonderful.
be you. Yeah. And if you have
Wonderful.
a problem figuring that out, then talk to me. We'll figure it out together.
Awesome. I like that. Perfect. So just stay there. I'll be right back to you. So thank you so much, Moira. It was such a wonderful talk. I really admire what you've done, the path that you're into, and I look forward to see, also all your progress in the future. So thank you for being here today. So that's the end of another episode of Lucas here for a chat with It's All Good. So come and see us next week on the whatever the date is, 11, I think, at 12 o'clock p.m. And I look forward to see you next time. So have a wonderful week and happy 4th of July for all our American. And until next time, be kind to one another. Goodbye.